Hello there and welcome back to Murders on the Yangtze River. Now, last time we ended up having to go to the suspect's house from the first case because there was some evidence taken from the crime scene, and finding it in his possession in his house would kind of cement his conviction, basically, or cement his identity as a suspect. I don't even know how to correctly say that. So we went off into the house and found a lady's body inside inside his wardrobe, his locked wardrobe, no less. And now we're dealing with that case. Now we're dealing with that body. Now it seems that she was strangled with something, and I'm not entirely sure what yet, but kind of like a cane, but has indentations on it. There's like those markings on across the throat where she was strangled, and also there was a brazier in the room or in the house that had been going on for quite some time. Found traces of the coat that we were looking for from the first case. So that kind of confirms, at least a little bit confirms what happened in the first case. Found that, however, that bridge had been going on for a long time, so the place was covered in soot and there was no footprints found other than our footprints during our investigation when we were like milling around the house. So we don't quite know what's going on with that right now. We need to find the new murder weapon and find out who and why our new victim was taken out. So we ended up in court right at the very end. We ended up in court and had a little bit of cross-examination of some events, like some witnesses, and that's basically where we left it. So we're going to be continuing the investigation this week. So I have no idea where it's going to lead. Genuinely, I don't know if it's going to lead into a third case. I mean, I know there's a few cases, but like, I don't know if it's going to just continue with the same kind of case, like continue on from the same case, like a serial murder spree, she was saying, or if it's going to pick up in a different case entirely, because we are traveling, so I'm not entirely sure. It's an interesting game though. I do actually quite enjoy it. So anyway, besides that, getting distracted with it. I get distracted very easily lately. So please grab your favorite drinks and snacks, curl up somewhere comfortable, come hang out with me as we jump straight back into Murders on the Yangtze River. Enjoy, guys. Enjoy. Right, guys. So we actually, to be fair, I can't actually remember what our last instructions were. So I think we're just going to be running around having a look at stuff. So we did find some more evidence. This evidence here, I was wondering, because it said a thin red and yellow thread in the brick crevices in the well. Well, found that in the well, along with the coat belt, the belt for the coat that was missing, and also remnants of a rice cake, which the new victim had remnants of a rice cake on her as well. However, I don't think that was a poisoned one because of what happened after she had defensive wounds. So if she'd had a rice cake that was poisoned, then she would have been knocked out and there wouldn't have been any defensive wounds. You know what it is? It's the weird little things like that. So we have some evidence to check out. Now I thought that red and yellow wire string was from just a general one, like any of those guard swords. But having a closer look at it, those all look just yellow. The only one that I've seen that is red and yellow is the commander's, Commander Mars. So I'm wondering if he is involved. I'm just going to go run around and we're going to have a look. Sharon, a dog is eating steamed buns. What we're we doing with the dog? Are we doing anything with the dog? Is he waiting for us to throw it? What a cute dog. We're just going in again. Oh, he doesn't like me. Are we actually just messing with this dog? Water fire stick? It's a water fire stick. There's several red and black rods inserted onto this shelf. The rods don't have any grooves on them, so it seems they're not the murder weapon. We're still looking for the murder weapon. They are water fire rods. In the courtroom, if a suspect refuses to confess, they may be taken to the yard to be whipped. Do I want to actually have a look at that? Because I don't know what water fire rod means. Such a thick rod, it would surely be painful to be whipped with it, wouldn't it? After dozens of lashes, the skin would split open, flesh torn and blood spattered. That's not very nice. I don't think I want to read any more about that. Ah, such a severe beating. One must surely confess to anything and have no strength to refute. But what if it turns out to be a mistake in the end? What should be done then? Forcing confessions through torture has led to numerous wrongful convictions throughout history. That's very true. The case of Yangtze River, and I'm going to attempt it. Zhao Baikai, over a few decades ago, was just an example. Indeed, such practices are far too arbitrary and unjust. Precisely because of this, we must value evidence and uncover the truth through it. We're going to look at the dog real quick, because now we've moved him all the way across. Be good, dog. Okay, was that literally just for an achievement? Oh, wow, we've got one of these as well. Sorry. Belt in a dry well. Why were the coat and the belt disposed of separately? Charred fragments of a coat were found in Lord Shuwen's charcoal brazier. The fabric of the coat is distinctive, so it shouldn't be mistaken. But why didn't Lord Shuwen burn the entire piece of clothes? Why did he only throw the belt onto the dry well? It's very curious. Was the belt used for something in the first murder? This is our Auntie Vu as well. She's our coroner. Shen, is that Auntie Vu standing on the steps who Officer Ma mentioned? Well, I just met her at Lo Shuwen's home. I heard from the soldier that she's a very skilled coroner, but she doesn't look like it. I mean, what does a skilled coroner look like? Little brat, do you think my ears are not working? Auntie Vu, Fu speaks frankly. Please forgive him. Are you the scholar who found the corpse? I am indeed. Nice to meet you, Auntie Vu. I'm Shen Chungping. Fairly polite. Auntie, has Miss Liu's autopsy been completed? I wonder. You don't know the rules. Are you allowed to inquire about the autopsy? Miss Liu's death is mysterious, but also I want to do my best to help in any way I can. I haven't finished my examination yet. Wait a little bit longer. When I have the results, I will report to the judge accordingly. Oh, so I can't talk to her anymore. Right, Soldier, has Lo Shuwen woken up? Yes. When the court session began, he woke up. I would like to have a talk with him. Would it be possible to arrange for that? The Lord has instructed if Detective Shen is investigating the case, we should cooperate. Thank you. I'm gonna have a look at this sword rack though. These swords on the rack look quite impressive. Ox-tailed swords. These are standard issue equipment for court officials. So let's go in here. Lord Shiwen, hi. You're looking remarkably, like, chill for being in the position that you're in. I was thinking who was coming. It's the great detective who trapped me here. Are you here to showcase your intelligence to me? I'm here to ask you something. So you are here to ask me why I killed Lope? Actually, no. My answer is that he brought it upon himself. No. What I want to ask you is about Liu Picheng. I don't think he knows about Liu Picheng. Who's Liu Picheng? I don't know her. Do you not? Miss Liu from Golden Words helped Lope publish his books. How's it possible you don't know her? You're talking about Miss Liu? You should ask Lope about her. She has nothing to do with me. Oops, I almost forgot. Lope cannot answer any more questions now. Miss Liu's body is in your wardrobe. Who else should we ask but you? Yes, we found it inside your wardrobe. And he's definitely feeling some sweats here. Oh, did he actually? Okay. Is he confessing? She colluded with Lope. They deserved it. Colluded? Even if I told you, you wouldn't believe it. Ghost in the Well, Bells and Bones, Mysterious Echo, and Swordsman Case. I'm the co-author of these novels. The tricks in those novels are all my own creations. Recently, I came up with another trick. Such a brilliant plan, how could Lope not experience it himself? If it weren't for you guys, I would have succeeded. If it weren't for you pesky kids. So, if you get that reference, great. What about Miss Liu? She's the same. She should die. She told me that she would credit my name on all Lope's novels. Last night, she came to me, making promises and swearing that she would expose Lope. But what actually happened? Check the newspaper's new book by author Lope, edited by Liu Picheng. Think I'm a fool? And then she even went to cry by the creek, such a pretentious act. Why are you silent? Why don't you talk? Never underestimate a good silence. I see. Great Detective Shen, he couldn't solve the second case, he came to me for help. Seeing the furrowed brow on your face truly brings joy to me. You guys, how long are you going to keep chatting? Lo Shiwen. Sorry, I didn't realize who that was. The question marks it was up. Lo Shiwen. Let's see if you'll still be smiling when it's time for your punishment. See, that has red on it. That's red and yellow. I'm wondering if it's blood or if it's actually meant to be red and yellow. Officer Ma, we're inquiring about the motive for the crime. Old Chu has recovered well. Lord appreciates your help and allows you to attend the court. Don't be ungracious. Hurry up and move. It seems like we'll have to go to the court first. Well, I guess we're going off right now. Actually, hold on, just going off right now. Is it a confession what Lo Shiwen just said just now? Should we report what we said to the judge? Let's first hear what Mr. Chu has to say before making a decision. Rise to the court. Solemn silence. What's those fire and water rod things? We will continue investigating the murder case of Liu Picheng. Please tell us again about your experience this morning, Mr. Chu. Is it Shu? Chu. This time, there must be no mistake. Okay. What the old scholar witness, another one. Alright, straight back in. The results of the candidate exam were to be released today, and I went to wait for them early. During the wait, I strolled around and saw someone coming out of Low's house. Low's house. He wore a white turban, held a rod, and carried a box. He should be Yang the errand runner. After Yang left, did you continue to stay near Lo Shuwen's house? Indeed. That's right. I didn't leave until the armed officer arrived to guard the scene. During that time, what did you see? I did not observe anything unusual during that time. Then the results were announced, and I found that my ticket was missing. I lost interest in all else. Did you see anyone else enter or leave Shuwen's house? I did not see any other person coming in or out. Sir, are you sure you didn't miss anything? I have carefully recalled and can confirm that I did not miss anything. Old Chu, are you telling the truth this time? I dare not speak falsely. Every statement is true. Mr. Shen, what do you think? Shen, the old scholar's response this time seems to be no different from before. On the contrary, he did mention new information this time. Let's start questioning once again. Are we still on the question? Okay, we're just questioning with the evidence. Okay, so we're not asking any more questions. We're just got to find the contradiction. And we have hints. I didn't realize we had hints. The results of the candidate exam were to be released today and went and waited for them early. Don't see any contradiction in that. During the wait, I strolled around and saw someone coming out of Low's house. Wore a white turban, held a rod, and carried a box. Do I have anything? Okay, I'm not sure what we... At noon. Okay. Do we know when Okay. What's the new information? Admission ticket was missing and lost interest in everything else. Is that the thing? We don't have any evidence, do we? Okay, so I'm not sure. Do we have the evidence? We must have the evidence that we need for this. Unless that's the new... Is that the new one? Okay, I'm actually genuinely confused right now as to what... How can we prove anything with the admission ticket? We don't have the admission ticket. Should we actually take a hint? Okay, so we can get us like an actual answer. Okay. Pay attention to the order of the exam results posting and the soldier's arrival. So it's this one. Oh wait, there we go. Sometimes it's the little things. Literally, soon the exam... Officer arrived, soon the exam results were released. It was this soldier who helped post the list and then came here to guard, so it's in the wrong order. It's in the wrong order. Sometimes just a little bit of a prompt helps. Mr. Chu said he saw a soldier come to guard Lo's house before the release of the exam results. However, Soldier Chen said he first went to post the notice, then stood guard at Lo's house. There is a contradiction between the statements of these two. Yeah. Unless it was a different soldier that turned up. See? Oh, you can't see it. Again, you can't see it because the amount of glue in the way. It's red and blue. Blue, red and yellow. And it's red at the bottom like it's been dipped in. It almost looks like it's been dipped. Old Chu, how dare you deceive me? I'm willing to swear upon the sun that not a single word of mine is false.
Huh?
Shen, could it be that soldiers made a mistake? Mr. Shen, what do you think? Is it ultimately Soldier Chen who made a mistake or Mr. Chu who made a mistake? Should we go with the... Okay. The guard soldier made a mistake. Mr. Chu made it. Neither of them made a mistake. I'm going to say neither of them. Because I'm wondering... One, I haven't actually... Yeah, 2 seconds. One, I'm wondering that... Whether there was 2 guards. A guard showed up at the house to guard, maybe went in, basically showed up to guard the house, and then the guard soldier, he came to post the results and then took over from the thing. Well, there's another guard present, basically. Maybe neither of them made a mistake. Is that really the case? Because what they saw was not the same person. It is highly possible that the person Mr. Chu saw was... Oh. I'm gonna guess. Could it actually be him? It's the only other guard. It's definitely not the judge. He's the only other guard that could be mistaken for a guard. Or the person that could be mistaken for a guard. He is a guard. He's the officer. And I'm basing that on, one, he's the only other person could be mistaken for a guard in this with relation to this case. also the red and yellow fabric string. The person Mr. Chu saw was you. Officer Ma. Officer Ma? How can you say that it's me? Mr. Chu saw the soldier at Low's house before the release of the examination results. Soldier Chen was posting the notice, then 15 minutes later he came to guard Low's house. So it's not him that Mr. Chu saw. Rather, an officer with a sword. Ordinary soldiers carry spears with them on daily duty, while only Officer Ma carries a sword. Speaking of it, we didn't see Officer Ma in the court this morning. Officer Ma, what's going on? Where were you this morning? I fear there are missing clues in the Master Low's case. I went to investigate again near his home. I think I was seen by Mr. Chu when I passed by Lo Shuen's house. Oh, really? You mean you just passed by and didn't enter the house? Old Shu, did you see me enter the house? Drawing your sword like that's not doing yourself any favours. I'm not sure. I think you didn't. Lord, Old Shu can prove that I didn't enter the house. He said that because you threatened him. Besides, if Officer Ma hadn't entered the house, who would have erased the footprints on the ground? What footprints? Lo Shuen lived messily, and the floor was covered with dust. It's easy to leave footprints. Was that dust? I thought that was soot from the fire. Young Heir mentioned Lord's house, but entered Lord's house, but left no footprints on the ground. Also, no footprints of others. It shows after Yang Heir left, someone manipulated the scene and wiped away the footprints. Isn't it obvious enough? The footprints were erased by Yang Heir. In that much of a hurry, though? If Yang Heir cleaned up the scene, then this item should not have been left behind. Is it that? It's got to be that, because he... No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, if he took the time to hide the footprints, he would have taken the time to hide the fact that, the wall, the clean spot on the wall. Yes? Or am I barking up the wrong tree? What a joke. He was just trying to hide the theft by cleaning the footprints. Please allow me a moment to think. I was wrong. Okay. I was wrong. If Yang Heir cleaned up the scene, this item should not have been left behind. I mean, it could be... Could it be that? I might be wrong again. Maybe correct. If Yang Heir could come up with the idea to clean up the footprints at the scene, then it would be highly unlikely for him to leave this box of steamed buns at the scene. Because it puts him at the scene with no footprints. I was right that time. Right. Officer Ma also mentioned before. I suspected it was Yang Heir as soon as I saw that food box. If Yang Heir were to erase his presence in the house, why would he leave such clear evidence? Such a foolish act is not something just anyone can do. Yang might be an exception. Yep. Yang tends to focus on starting tasks rather than finishing them. But how did you suddenly come up with the idea to clean up the footprints on the ground? Lord, I guess that Yang was commissioned by Lord Shuen to help him clean up the scene. However, he was not aware of the body inside the wardrobe. What do you mean by that? Auntie Vu has just helped us confirm the murder weapon. It is the painting that Yang took. Is it now? What? Do we have the painting though? Summon Auntie Vu to the court immediately. Is that the scroll? How do they get the scroll back? Auntie Vu. Auntie Vu, Officer Ma said that you believe the scroll painting is the murder weapon. I indeed have this very suspicion. How do you explain it? Just compare the scroll with the choke marks on the victim's neck and you'll see the clues. Maybe. So it is a match. Okay. I thought maybe there should be another one here and here then. A long linear strangulation mark on her neck. 2 evenly distributed vertical marks. Look at the scroll. There are 2 leather straps tied on it. These straps match the thickness and spacing of the vertical marks and the strangulation mark. From this perspective, the scroll painting should be the murder weapon. But what? The strangulation mark is wider and thicker than the scroll. They do not completely match in this aspect. Auntie, is it possible that this mark was created by repeated and prolonged compression? After all, the murderer wasn't strong enough and the victim also showed signs of resistance. If we consider that the position of each compression has some deviation, it could make sense. Earlier, Officer Ma mentioned the murderer wasn't strong enough. Can you already identify the murderer? The murderer is Lo Shuen, as the body was found in his wardrobe. What do you think happened? Does that have some logic to it? But... Lord, this is a newspaper found at Lo Shuen's house. Lo Shuen, this wicked man, punctured the faces of Master Lo and Miss Liu in the photograph. It is evident how deep his hatred towards the two is. Mr. Shen, how do you review this? He may not necessarily be the murderer. Lo Shuen may not be the murderer. I think it's Ma. I'm beginning to think it's definitely Officer Ma. He's involved in this somehow. The problem lies in the time of death. Based on my initial assessment, Miss Liu was killed sometime around midnight. I had arrived at Lord Pei's house not long before that. Lo Shuen should have been busy dealing with the crime scene at Lord Pei's house, it seems. Mr. Shen, do you know about this? Auntie Vu is indeed the most renowned coroner in the Jingchu region. You are analysing the time of death in front of her. Isn't that like bringing the coal to Newcastle? Okay, I've never heard that term before, but that kind of rung a bit close to home because I live near Newcastle. And we used to be a big coal mining place. I don't know if that's bizarre. Sorry, that threw me off a little bit. Amatawai, please don't flatter me. But I am indeed curious to know what is Mr. Shen's basis for his judgment. I'm mainly judged by the degree of rigor mortis and the stiffness of the fingers and toe joints. You ignorant laymen only know about rigor mortis. Rigor mortis was body temperature measured, pupils observed, did liver mortis fade after pressure? Also, the body state changes even on isolated. Were environmental factors considered? Maybe not. May I ask, Gontifu, what's your estimation of the time of death? Between 3 o'clock and 5 o'clock today. It's much later than we thought. If we don't consider any special circumstances, we can say it's midnight, as you mentioned. In this particular situation, based on my experience, I set the time 4 hours later. Special circumstances at the scene. You did claim to be a detective and have been to the scene yourself. Did you not pay attention to the situation I mentioned earlier? The evidence at the scene that could affect the determination of the time of death is the brazier. Has to be that. Because it was hot. I understand. The solution to the problem lies in this charcoal brazier. Brazier. Brazier? Brazier is a woman's boob aid. Was it a brazier? Excuse me. The charcoal brazier made the room hot and stuffy like summer, speeding up the body's decay. Yes, with high ambient temperature, rigor mortis appears earlier and disappears sooner. Conversely, with low ambient temperature, rigor mortis will appear later and disappear later. Due to the summer-like temperature at the scene, we should infer the time of death accordingly. That's why I had to determine the estimated time of death to actually be 4 hours later. Since the incident happened between 3 and 4, or 3 and 5, the truth becomes clear at a glance. What's your opinion, Officer Ma? Tell us quickly. His deduction, okay. It is evident that both Master Lo and Miss Liu was killed by Lo Shiwen. Last night he first drugged Miss Liu with the rice cake and then hid her in his own house. Then he went to Master Lo's house, drugged him as well. Just as he was about to kill Master Lo, Shen's visit caused him to temporarily change his plan. Today at midnight, Lo Shiwen drugged Mr. Shen, killed Master Lo and set up the crime scene. Around 3, he came home to lit the brazier, turn the bloodstained coat, burn the bloodstained coat and tried to kill Miss Liu. But Miss Liu had eaten less of the drug cake. She woke up midway and resisted his attack. In the end, Lo Shiwen killed Miss Liu with a scroll. There was not much time left. In order to return to Master Lo's house before Yang he first hid the body in the wardrobe. Unexpectedly, his trick was exposed by Mr. Shen on the spot. He himself fainted at the scene. As a result, Miss Liu's body was left in the wardrobe until Afu opened it. This is the truth behind the whole case. Shen, what Officer Ma said does make sense. Yes, what Officer Ma said is very true. Mr. Shen, what do you think? Is Lo Shiwen the murderer? I'm gonna go, no, murder someone else. No, I believe the real murderer is someone else. Oh, I wonder who Mr. Shen thinks is the murderer. Officer Ma's deduction seems flawless at first hearing. But upon careful consideration, something feels off. I know what's off. As for who the real murderer is... Mr. Shen, Lord is waiting for your answer. Because, if you remember rightly, when we turned up... That's it. When we, at the beginning of the game, when we turned up at Lopez's house, we passed Liu Chupeng. We passed her. She was crying outside the house and then she went running off. Which means his chain of events doesn't match up, because if his matched the case, she wouldn't have been outside the house when we arrived. If the murderer isn't Lo Shuen, then who could it be? Give me a straight answer. The murderer. The murderer should be... I'm gonna go you. I'm gonna go you. Because of the thread in the well. It's Officer Ma, the real murderer in this case. Officer Ma? Shen, are you sure you're not kidding? In the courtroom, jesting is not to be taken lightly. Was I actually wrong? It is not a jest. Mr. Shen, I wonder what your reasons are for suspecting this person. Please allow me a moment to think. Mr. Shen, if you believe there are flaws in my deduction, please feel free to point them out. Do we have any evidence? Mr. Shen, I see that you're not quite yourself. Are you feeling unwell? No need to force it, Mr. Shen. Catching the murderer and solving the case is our duty, not yours. Officer Ma's analysis does sound quite reasonable to me. I believe that should be the truth of the case then. Soldiers, take Mr. Shen and Afu for a rest. Wait a minute. I think I got her name wrong. I said Chung Ping. It's not Chung Ping. His is Chung Ping. There's one thing I still can't figure out. Officer Ma's analysis suggests Lo Shuen hired Yang Er to clean up the footprints at the scene. He also had Yang Er remove the murder weapon from his house. But Lo Shuen fainted after I exposed his scheme, and there was no time to talk with Yang Er. Before that, it was unlikely that he could foresee his being arrested. Something must have gone wrong somewhere. I need to think carefully. All contact leaves traces. The evidence is not non-existent, but instead undiscovered. All objects and all images settle in different locations sequentially. He's searching his mind. It's so hot in here. These buns have stayed here for 6 hours. Be careful, they might be spoiled. Don't worry, Shen. The room is extremely hot, causing the decomposition of the body to accelerate. However, the steamed buns that had been left for 6 hours did not spoil. Why is it like this? Do you need me to point you in the right direction? No need. I'm wondering if that's his evil side, or if that's his brother, because his brother was murdered. And I'm wondering if that's caused a break in his psyche. I will handle this case myself. Go ahead then, tell me. What is the key factor for Officer Ma to be able to confirm that Lo Shuen is the murderer? Time of death? If the case happened as I initially speculated, occurring at midnight, Lo Shuen has an alibi to prove that he was not present at the scene. What changed the determination of the time of death? The charcoal brazier. Or brazier. Of course, it is the charcoal brazier. After considering the brazier, Auntie Vu pushed back the estimated time of death by 4 hours. Can this factor be ruled out? Ruled out? How? The charcoal brazier merely increased the temperature inside the room. Stifling heat inside truly impacted the determination of the time of death. Whether it is the charcoal brazier or the room temperature factor, both are objectively present. There is another variable with the charcoal brazier that you overlooked. The time of ignition. Time. If the heat did not last long enough, the impact on decomposition rate will be limited. The fact that the meat buns in the food box did not spoil is likely due to this reason. The crucial factor is when the charcoal brazier was ignited. How can we infer this specific time? If I know the charcoal burn rate, I can analyze the ratio of unburned charcoal to ash. That is indeed a thing that we can do. I don't know how we're going to do it in the courtroom, but that's the thing we can do. Even so, it is still difficult to deduce the exact time when the charcoal brazier was ignited. Because we do not know the initial ratio of charcoal to charcoal ash. Stupid. Think about who lit the charcoal brazier. Officer Ma. That's the suspect that will have. Officer Ma's claim of just passing by without entering the room is likely a lie. He was the last to go by the scene, and he was also the most likely to one clean up the footprints. If he was the one who lit the charcoal brazier, everything would make sense. I'm saying I'm butchering this word brazier all the time. I apologize. I realize I've said it a few different ways. Mr. Shen, you're still unwilling to leave? Are you suggesting that I should personally request you to leave? Judge Chang, I have sorted out my thoughts. I wonder if you, Judge Chang, would be willing to listen to my words. Shen, don't refuse a gift and then demand punishment. Officer Ma, please calm down for now. I would like to hear Mr. Shen's analysis. Lo Shuen is not the one who actually killed Miss Liu. Officer Ma is the one who did it. Why, I don't know. Lord, Shen is slandering me. How can I not be angry? Mr. Shen, please tell me what is your reason for suspecting Officer Ma? After Mr. Shu left, Officer Ma did indeed enter Lo Shuen's house. The charcoal brazier in the house, was lit by Officer Ma. I'm getting paranoid about that word now. And he also cleaned up the footprints. What a joke. Why would I have the free time to go to Lo's house to light a brazier? No, your intention was to create a false impression of the time of death. By doing so, you could frame Lo Shuen for the murder.
Huh?
Shen, I just don't understand. Heating up the charcoal brazier in the room would accelerate the decomposition of the body. If we ignore this, won't we be more likely to assume that the time of death was earlier instead? Shen, you're talking nonsense, not even able to convince your own assistant. The charcoal burner was specifically lit to mislead this person. The coroner. Yes. Oh, we're getting somewhere. Are we actually getting somewhere here? The charcoal brazier was specifically lit by Officer Ma for Auntie Vu. For me? Indeed. The person he truly intended to mislead was Auntie Vu. Because she is the most renowned coroner in the Jinchu region. I feel like I'm going to sneeze. Feel it brewing. What do you mean by that? It's coming. Belt it. Because untight. Auntie Vu has authority, and we rely entirely on her judgment to determine the type of death. Misleading her is equivalent to misleading everyone else. Can you tell me then where I've been misled? A hot room can speed up the decomposition of a body. Others may overlook it, but Auntie Vu won't. Officer Ma precisely took advantage of this point. Taking Auntie to the scene for the autopsy was actually to expose her to the stifling indoor heat. Wow, it's really hot in this room. Then he used his position as officer to make Auntie believe the room was always in such a state. But in fact, the charcoal brazier was lit by Officer Ma around noon when he entered Luo's house. Afterwards, Officer Ma had Soldier Chen guard the door to ensure that the room would heat up. At that time, it was only 2 hours before Fu and I discovered the body. The impact of decomposition was very limited. And all of this, it was all to mislead Auntie Vu. But the body was indeed discovered by you and Fu first, so how can it be said otherwise? Even if Fu and I didn't find the body there, you'd find another reason to take Auntie Vu there. So that's how it is. If the brazier was lit for only 2 hours, the victim should have been killed around midnight. Around midnight, Lo Shuen was still at Lo Pei's house, unable to be in 2 places at once. Officer Ma, did you really commit the murder? It's a slander. It's all slander. Lord, it was Lo Shuen who lit the charcoal brazier to burn the blood-stained coat. The fragments of clothes in the charcoal brazier are the evidence. Shen is actually distorting the truth and slandering me. If Lo Shuen was the one who lit the charcoal brazier, Yang should have felt the stuffiness upon entering the room. But he had no impression of it at all. There was no one inside the room, and I didn't notice anything unusual either. And the only person who entered the room after Yang was you, Officer Ma. How do you know that Yang wasn't lying? What evidence do you have to claim that I entered the room? Officer Ma's argument makes sense, and Yang words cannot be entirely trusted. Mr. Shen, do you have any other way to prove that charcoal brazier was lit by Officer Ma? This piece of evidence can also prove that the room was only stuffy for a short period of time. Right, it has to be the steamed bun box, because they weren't spoiled. The box of steamed buns is the evidence. If meat buns are left in a stuffy environment for 6 hours, they will definitely spoil. But Afu tasted them at that time and the buns were not spoiled. Absolutely true. Afu is your assistant, so if he says they're not spoiled, then they're not spoiled. Someone bring the confiscated food box here. I will personally taste it. That was very quick. Shen, the food box is empty. Where did the buns inside go? Your assistant ate all the spoiled buns. That's not true. I do believe I know where a bun is. Outside this very courtroom with the dog. The dog, that's... yeah, the dog that we're messing with earlier. I clearly ate only one. And it was not spoiled. There we go. The dog. Doggo had one. Shen, it was Officer Ma. He fed all the buns to the dog. You dare turn the tables on me? How can you accuse me of destroying evidence? Shen, what should we do now? Let's look at this from a different perspective. Officer Ma was the last person to enter the crime scene. The bloodstained coat were most likely destroyed by him at that time. If we can prove this point, then everything will be proven. Right. There doesn't seem to be many people who know about Lopez's bloodstained coat. Lord, the bloodstained coat were clearly burned by Lo Shuen. Shen is distorting the truth. No. This evidence proves that the person who burned the bloodstained coat is not Lo Shuen. Could it be? It's a bit of a gamble. I'm going to assume that's correct. Everyone, please take a look. These are fragments of broken rice cake and the belt of Lopez's wind coat. Afu found these in the dry well near Lopez's house. They'd have been discarded by Lo Shuen. What do these things have to do with me? I hadn't figured it out before. Why did Lo Shuen separately dispose of the belt and the coat? If the intention was to destroy them, why not burn them together? Indeed, why would he do so? There's only one reason that can explain it. Lo Shuen didn't intend to burn that coat. He disposed of the evidence by throwing the coat and the cake together into the dry well. It is indeed quite common for perpetrators to dispose of evidence in multiple locations. That was a Western style coat and the belt should be inserted into the belt loops at the back. There is something that everyone's unaware of. There's a discarded rake head underneath the well and the belt got caught on it. The belt would have come off when Officer Ma pulled up the coat. After all, Officer Ma is big and tall, unable to go down the well like Afu. That's why he didn't take the broken cake and the belt from the bottom of the well. These are all your speculations, just speculations. I did not go to find any bloodstained coat, nor did I arrange for anyone else to do so. It is possible that Lo Shuen took the bloodstained coat back. It has nothing to do with me. Lo Shuen is awake now. Did he go down the well to retrieve the bloodstained coat? Just ask him. Officer Ma, It is an undeniable fact that you have investigated the dry well. This can prove it. The thread. Ah, the thread from the coat. I knew it would come into play as being his. The decisive evidence is this thin thread. Absurd. What can a single thread prove? This thin thread was found in the gap between the bricks on the well wall. The thread is clean and intact, not exposed to sun or rain. Clearly it got stuck in recently. What is the connection between this thin thread and Officer Ma? Judge Chang, this thin thread is red and yellow. Its colour is quite distinctive. The red part of it is dark crimson, not dye colour. It looks more like long dried blood stains. The yellow part also appears aged. Originally it should have been a bright yellow colour. May I kindly ask both of you to explain more clearly? I would like to point out the connection between this thread and Officer Ma. The tassel on his sword. Haha, got ya! This thin thread is the tassel from Miss Officer Ma's sword. The tassel had dry blood stains on it, which is a unique characteristic of Officer Ma's sword. The thread got stuck in the crevice as Officer Ma leaned over the well, probing with his sword. Ma, during the pursuit of fugitive, you damaged your scabbard. The blood-stained tassel moved me. I borrowed your sword and had new scabbard crafted using high-quality wood. Just now I took a closer look at this thread, and indeed it is from your tassel. No, it's not me. I did investigate that well, but I didn't find anything. It's also possible that someone else took the bloodstained coat before I had the chance. Officer Ma, didn't you just say you didn't order anyone to look for the bloodstained coat? Except Lo Shuen, everyone who knew about the bloodstained coat was at Lo Pei's house. It was only you, me, Afu, Judge Chang who knew about it. Officer Ma, what is the truth behind all this? I do wonder why. I think we may have pissed him off. Chen, stop accusing others without evidence. Don't blame weapons if harm comes your way. Officer Ma, for now, please put down the sword. Lord, Chen has been too oppressive. I have been wronged and treated unfairly. I cannot accept it in my heart. Even if I believe that you are being unjustly treated, you still need to give me an explanation for the bloodstained coat. Shen has a silver tongue. It's hard for me to defend myself. If you have evidence to prove your innocence, that would be acceptable too. Lord, if I have a way to prove my innocence, would you please help in bringing charges against Shen for false accusation? For this matter, the punishment for false accusations in our dynasty is severe, but Mr. Shen was invited by me. Are you suggesting, my lord, that you have made up your mind to show favoritism? Judge Shang, if Officer Ma is truly innocent, I am willing to accept punishment. Shen? Officer Ma, can you speak out now? What can prove your innocence? Yes. Lord, Shen's accusations against me are all based on speculation and have no basis. I've never seen that bloodstained coat, so I cannot provide any explanation for it. It is possible that Yang Er burned the clothing since he is an accomplice of Lo Shuen. Judge To determine my innocence, all you need to do is take a look at the hands of the deceased. Auntie Vu, is there anything special about the hands of the deceased? The fingertips have abrasions and bruises with the nails and surrounding skin being damaged. These are the resistance wounds left by her struggling to scratch and claw before death. Therefore, do you believe that the murderer would have scratch marks on their body? More precisely, on his hands. The logic I've explained to Officer Ma before is that in case of asphyxiation, the victim will by instinct grab the source of the strangling force and pull outward to resist. Therefore, it often leaves scratch marks on the murderer's hands. That doesn't quite sit right, because it wasn't with the hands. But Auntie, wasn't the murder weapon in this case a scroll painting? Miss Liu, when resisting, would have been grabbing the scroll, right? Take a closer look at that painting. Are there scratch marks on it?
Huh?
No, that means it's not the murder weapon. There are no scratch marks, only some signs of compression. No wall dust or floor dirt in the victim's hair or back shows she was strangled from behind. The murderer's hands will be placed near the center of the scroll so as to control the victim. Since the victim wasn't able to grab the scroll during the struggle, she'd only grab the hand. You mean by simply examining Officer Ma's hand, we can determine if he is the real murderer? This is just my humble opinion. Officer Ma rolled up his sleeves. My hands are clean and clear. I am innocent. Auntie, is it possible Officer Ma wore gloves when he committed the crime? The girl scratched her nails when she struggled. She grabbed so hard even though the clothes there would be bruises. Oh, sorry. I missed a comma there. She grabbed so hard even through the clothes there would be bruises. What do you have to say now, Shen? The legal code states the crime of false accusation shall be punished with third-degree offence. What is the crime you falsely accuse me of? Murder. That's a capital crime. Mr. Shen, Officer Ma has already presented the evidence. Do you still insist that he is the murderer? You can still withdraw the charges now, and I will treat everything as if it never happened. We're coming for you. We're coming for you, Officer Ma. I really hope we are correct. After all this, I hope we are correct. Shen, shall we take the time to consider this matter thoroughly? Although it is frustrating to let Officer Ma escape in this case, we'll have to accept it. It appears that Mr. Shen cannot find any loopholes either. Lord, in such a situation, can we really not consider Mr. Shen's actions as false accusation? Know when to stop, Officer Ma. It seems this case won't have a conclusion anytime soon. Let's adjourn the hearing for today. Wait a moment. Judge, I still firmly believe that Officer Ma is the murderer. Mr. Shen, even so, are you confident you can prove conclusively that Officer Ma is the killer? I'd like to give it a try. Shen, did you simply disregard what Auntie Vu said earlier as if it were nothing? I was initially planning to let you off the hook for Lord's sake, but now it's far from over. Mr. Shen, I can only give you one chance. Very well. Thank you, Judge Chang. One chance is enough. Chen, how do you plan to improve it then? Did Officer Ma conceal the wound in some way? Or is it possible that Miss Liu's finger injury was not a defensive wound? I just reviewed the case in my mind, and the current line of reasoning seems to be correct. However, Officer Ma has presented a counter-argument from a new angle. We should also shift our perspective and consider alternative angles. Instead of discussing whether something is true or not, let's take a moment to contemplate why are there no scratches on Officer Ma's hands? Mr. Shen, please present the evidence. One possible explanation for the lack of scratches on Officer Ma's hands is... Can we look at the details on that? With one of these and the scabbard. Judge Chang planned to gift an oxtail sword, adding 2 copper rings and cloud engravings. With the dimensions on it. Okay, I think that's it. I'm going to go for that, the blacksmith's manual. Because the old sword was bloody, maybe bloody, and then it broke the scabbard. It's by strangling her, and then he's got a new one now. The reason why there are no scratches on Officer Ma's hands is because he was wearing arm guards. Not long ago. Alright. Right answer, wrong reasoning. Not long ago, he had the arm guards reinforced by a blacksmith. Shen, are you kidding me? The arm guards protect the forearm, not the hand. What if Officer Ma used his arm to hold the scroll tightly? It wouldn't be tightly secured, there'd be bruises on the chin even if she didn't break free. But in fact, she only had strangulation marks on her neck. Only strangulation marks on the neck. Mr. Shen, there are no injuries on Officer Ma's hands. Even if I agree with your argument, it is still difficult to conclusively determine that he is the murderer, isn't it? He could have killed her wearing arm guards, but it's also possible he's not related at all. If we were to find out the true weapon used in this case, things would be totally different. The true murder weapon? Isn't the murder weapon the scroll? The true murder weapon is... scabbard. So I did get it right, just there was something else in there as well. Actually, the true murder weapon is the scabbard of Officer Ma's sword. The scabbard? The scabbard has cloud patterns, but no corresponding marks were found on Miss Liu's neck. Officer Ma first wrapped the scabbard with the arm guard, then used it as a club to kill her. This would prevent the patterns of the scabbard from leaving marks on the victim's neck. What? What a complex method! Shen, you're indeed eloquent and almost managed to deceive Lord again. The so-called murder weapon you mentioned is essentially no different from the scroll. Auntie Vu just mentioned killing this way, the murderer's hands would inevitably scratched. How do you explain this? Please allow me a moment to think. Reconsider? Not quite. Lord, baseless accusations and reckless behaviour will undermine our authority as officials. Today I must hold him accountable for the false accusations he has made. Well, in that case... He's getting nervous. Look at that. Look at that sword shake. Right there. Lord, at this point are you still trying to cover for him? Come on. Take Shen Chongping and Fu away first. Did we lose? Wait, did we actually... Wait, did we lose? Exiled far away. Shen Chongping was sentenced to exile for false accusations, travelling 1,000 miles under punishment. Okay, so we lost. Oh, really? This could be a problem. Damn, I'm just wasting my mind. There was no checkpoint. There was no checkpoint. Oh my days. Okay. All right. So. I can't believe that. I cannot believe that. We're literally back at the start of the episode right now. Okay. I don't know what to do right now. I'm mad at myself. I thought I was on the right track as well. But we're lost. And... Okay. Alright. So I'm going to have to replay this entire section to get back to where we were. However, I'm going to have to do that next time. Unfortunately, I'm going to do that in my own time, and we're going to pick up where we failed. We're going to pick up where we failed in the next episode, because I have overrun on recording time. The actual length of the episode's not bad right now. The time it is as of recording, ending the recording now, is pushing it on a bit because I've got other stuff I need to do. So I don't have time right now to replay this entire episode and get up to where we were. I'm gonna have to do it some other time, unfortunately. So I'm mad at myself. I can't believe that was wrong. I can't believe that it was just exiled immediately. I thought I was on the right track, but apparently not. So dang it. So unfortunately, I'm gonna have to I'm forced to leave this here on a little bit of a cliffhanger, a little bit of a downer ending right of the episode, because I didn't save it. Now, to be fair, I didn't even consider saving it in the middle of the episode, like in the middle of the case. I didn't even consider it, but it's something I'm gonna have to look into, like further down the line. Dang it. Alright, so we're going to leave it here, unfortunately. I hope you have enjoyed this episode. If you have, please let me know in the comment section below. If you are new here, feel free to come hang out, come check out some other stuff that we have going on. We would love to have you here. If you're not new here, thank you again for all the support you give. It is much appreciated. However, if you want to add a little bit extra support onto that, then and let go above and beyond, you can grab one of my memberships, either a tier 1 or tier 2. Tier 1, you get your name up on the wall up here. Tier 2, you get up here as well, and you get early access to the videos of the thing is roughly a week in advance. So If that is something you're interested in, by all means, grab one of those. If you're not though, no harm. Just a little bit extra waiting time, and after that initial early access period, they become available for everyone. So there we have it. I can't believe I failed. I just can't believe it. Also, please remember to be a light in the dark with someone. You never know when a single word or act of kindness can change someone's day or life for the better, or in ways that you may never understand. I love you all from the bottom of my heart, and you all know what's coming. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, and all that jazz. And as always, we'll see you on the flip side. Bye bye.